Hey, 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 everybody. Thank God it's Financial Freedom Fridays. I am your host, Queenie Brown, and I want to welcome you so excited that you're joining us today. Today, we are going to be talking about the price of tomorrow, and we are excited about it. I am your host, I'm Queenie Brown, and welcome again to your Friday night oasis to everything freedom. We are all about time freedom, dream freedom, financial freedom, space and location freedom. It's all about being able to have and make the choices that you want for your life and live in full and complete freedom. We created, thank God, it's Financial Freedom Fridays with myself and the Kingsmen, because we started having some honest conversations about money and where the world is going right now, and how do we protect the money that we have, and how do we earn more, and how do we just provide a safe haven for our families and be able to create that true freedom. And so in our conversations, the guys were educating me on things that I didn't know anything about, like cryptocurrency and the value of investing in gold and silver, and a lot of the things that we've talked about or heard about, but we don't really know much about it. So our conversation started to get deep, and I thought, why don't we, and we all actually made this decision together, why don't we bring this conversation to the people? Invite the family in on the conversation so we can all grow and build wealth together. So we want to welcome you to the conversation. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. We will be sharing some of your comments live on the screen, so feel free to join us with that. And again, thank you for joining us for Thank God It's Financial Freedom Fridays. So let's bring on the Kingsmen. Hello, gentlemen. First, we have Mr. Dwayne Taylor. He is the coach with 30 plus years in health and fitness, and now he is all about finances and financial freedom. Welcome, Coach Dwayne Taylor.
What's going on, family? It's always an honor and a pleasure to be here with you this evening, Queenie and Brother Donovan Yarbrough. It's always a pleasure. Yes, yes. Thank you
Likewise.
for having me.
Likewise. Thank you for joining us. And then next, the,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
next Kingsman is Mr. Donovan Yarbo, Mr. Pay Yourself First. He is a previous Series 7 and Series 63 licensed stockbroker on Wall Street. I hope I said that right, Donovan. I always mix it up, but I'm just grateful for you and your wisdom and your talent. So thank you so much, Mr. Pay Yourself First, again for joining us.
It's good to be here, and I don't want to take any credit for creating this show. I was asked would I speak and share my 2 cents and things that I've started learning, and I've been happy to. But I appreciate and thank you for the idea, the creation, the collaboration with Mr. Taylor, and bringing me in so that I could share with the family.
Well,
So it's good to see y'all tonight.
we're excited that we are family and we're growing in wealth together. So tonight we're excited. Boy, you guys blew my hair back a little bit ago. They shared a very interesting video, and I'm excited to get into it, guys. You guys, who wants to go first? I think Donovan, this is
Uh,
your this
I
is your
I
bag
want to go
tonight.
first
You
before Coach Taylor tells me I'm going
right,
first.
right. You going first?
So we've been on hiatus the last 2 weeks, just kind of getting some things together personally for each of us. And there was so much going on, so many heated debates that we were having that would have leaked into our Financial Freedom Fridays. And we really don't want much to leak in here because this conversation is about freedom, and I may ruffle some feathers with this, but I gotta say it. I don't know about your ancestors, but my ancestors were fighting for freedom.
Yes,
So whatever you try to narrow that down into, they were fighting to be free. They
yes.
weren't fighting for the right to do and to go and no freedom. And free is like Queenie said to start the show. The freedom of movement, the freedom to go where you want, be where you want, do what you want for however long you want with who you want. That's what they were fighting for, and that's the fight that continues today, and the fight that me and my business partner, brother Mr. Taylor, are on. Why we call ourselves the Kingsmen, selfless, sacrificing servants. We're not here to be served. We are here to do the serving because our King Jesus said, "He that wants to be greatest among you, let him be servant of all."
Mm.
And we heed those words and follow those words. We just don't look at them as black ink on white pages. No, they're life-giving words. But what sparked this conversation today was literally one of my number one digital mentors, Mr. Robert Kiyosaki, just posted on the Rich Dad channel an interview that he did with a gentleman named Jeff Booth that wrote a book called The Price of Tomorrow. And what stuck out to me was the acceleration of exponential transition and how it accelerates at the end and people don't even realize it. One of the analogies that they used was standing in water that's freezing, not cold, but it's turning to ice and you don't even realize it or feel it until it's too late, because you can't see the molecules starting to transform. And once they transform and turn to ice, you're in it and didn't even realize it. Well, we have to parallel that to the world that we live in today. Things are happening on an exponentially accelerated rate, and a lot of people don't even see it. And number one, I'm gonna tell you why: because you're distracted. You're distracted fighting over red or blue. You're distracted fighting over things that don't lead to eternal life. You're distracted fighting and arguing over things that don't amount to a hill of beans when it comes to you and the economy in your household. You're looking to the left and to the right when you should be looking straight on and see how the world is changing before you and get ahead of it. Think about the blockbusters of the world. Literally, the industry changed right in front of their face and they were too late to even flow with it. Were they stupid individuals? No, they were very industrious, very business-minded people. But when they saw the shift, they thought that what they were doing, which was already a dinosaur way of watching movies, was the only way and the best way. And no way people would stop doing this. Now, us on the other end of the history, we can see that. Man, how could they not see that Netflix and digital streaming and downloading would be the future and be able to transition with it? On this end, it's easy to see, but like I said, standing in that water that's freezing, you can't see. And now we're at a point in history where monetary systems are changing. Why? Because the capitalist economy has not been allowed to go through a natural reset. They've been kicking the can down the road, printing more and more money, add money, inflating money into the system, and then telling you that the economy is good because the stock market's up. The economy is good because the numbers are up. Well, nothing in the world can continue to expand without exploding. And that's where we're at. The expansion has gotten too big and now it has to explode. But the way they're going to try to explode it, really just kind of poke a hole in it and try to let the air seep out, is by transitioning to digital money and giving you a universal basic income to say that, hey, well, you can still participate in the world because we're going to give you $1,000 a month of free digital money. Look, see, isn't everything good? Well, that's when inflation is going to kick in, which is the hidden tax. And those dollars that you're getting for free aren't going to be able to buy anything. So what is the price of tomorrow if you don't act today? It's too expensive. More on that later. Over to you, Mr. Taylor.
Man, it's a couple things happened, like watching that film today, and then I was in another meeting earlier today. And hopefully this kind of ties into everything that the video was talking about earlier. But I realized, man, they don't teach us anything how to grow mentally in school. And they don't teach us how to make money, earn money, keep money, grow money. They really don't teach us. You would think the system would be set up to teach us the functional things that can make us truly successful in life. And they don't. And it's sad, man. I've seen so many people hurting today, mentally and financially, because we just don't have this knowledge. We just don't have this education. And, the alarm bells are being sounded. Things are happening in the economy to let people know. But because people don't have even a ABC education with money, there's no way they're going to be able to heed this. There's no way they're going to be able to see what's going on. And that's by design. And it's unfortunate. And the only thing you have is people like Robert Kiyosaki and Mike Maloney and Salenti everybody, even us right now, sounding the alarm, and all the other ones around the world sounding the alarm about financial literacy, because it really is the foundation of your household. Because if you don't have the cash flow that you need to do the things you need to do, it impacts every area of your life. I don't care what nobody says, man. Like, people need to get over their money issues. You should want a lot of money. Like, for
Make it
real, you
plain.
should want a lot of it. Like, cause all it is paper. Like, if you really think about it, you should want to have a lot of paper to buy the stuff that you want and to be able to do the things you want. You really should. Like, you should really check your mindset and ask yourself why you really don't want to be rich, or why you always have that mindset of, oh, I just want enough. There's something wrong with that mindset, whether you know it or not. But you need to check that, because if not, the situations like what's happening right now, with the acceleration of uh, technology. And like they said, technology is moving so fast that our financial system, the Federal Reserve, the Treasury Department, they haven't caught up with how fast technology has advanced everything else. We're still living in the archaic financial infrastructure. And there's only one thing that's really going to happen to correct it. It's going to have to fall, because they're not, like Mr. Yarbo said, they're not allowing the system to do what it's designed to do. And the system is designed to reset itself. Man, that's so funny. It is designed to reset itself in order for it to work properly. That's capitalism. But as we know, the cats that control the show, controlling the flow. Over to
the
you.
the piece that really stood out for me, we talked about it briefly before the show, and just for those of you who are watching, we'll include a link in the comments so that you can watch the video that we watched as well, and you can give us your feedback on it. But the thing that really stood out for me was the fact that we are living in an era that has shifted so quickly we don't even realize it's shifted. And he was talking
Mhm.
about how there was a hiccup when the industrial age kind of bumped up against the computer age, and nobody knew how to make that transition, but we made it. And now we've transitioned from that information age, I guess they called it, rather than the computer age. But when we actually made the shift from the information age to the crypto age, or the what did you call it, cyber age, it it
Mhm.
Mhm.
changed things exponentially. Now with artificial intelligence, we don't even realize how many jobs are being eliminated because of that, or how many
Mhm.
will be eliminated. And it's just cost efficient for a company to go with artificial intelligence. It just makes sense financially to do that. But what does that mean to us, those of us who are the ones solving the problems now? And so the biggest thing that stood out for me with that was that we have to figure out how to solve problems for people that exist now and create income for yourselves in a new way. Yes, we've got to figure out where to put our money in a different space than the dollar bill, because we know that that's losing value. But also, how can we use what God put on the inside of us to solve some problems for people so that we can begin to generate wealth exponentially as things shift? So, those are some things we have to start talking about.
And Queenie, I would like to even I don't want to use the word correct you, but go a step further
Please
in that we
do.
can't solve problems for people now. We have to solve problems for people that they don't even know that they have, that they're
Exactly.
going to have. We need to be ahead
Absolutely.
of them. Like they mentioned, they referenced Eastman Kodak, that they didn't
Mm.
see how digital photography was taken over and didn't make the shift.
Mhm.
I mean, who kids today wouldn't know what film looked like? 35 millimeter film. If you showed them that,
Mhm.
they would be lost. Dwayne and I were talking the other day. Mr. Taylor and I were talking the other day about a rotary phone. His son, your son is how old, Dwayne? 16. If you put a rotary phone in front of him, it would take probably a couple days before he figured out how to make a call dialing a 10-digit number. how
It's
to actually make the phone call.
yeah.
Because if you have to dial that 9, you don't realize, hey man, you got to bring that 9
All the way around.
all the way around and let it get all the way back
And
before
like
you hit that 1, 2, and 3.
right. Right.
So solving problems for people that are to come in this cyber age,
Yes.
uh, that is moving faster than we can see, so fast. And that's why truly we do what we do, because if history repeats itself, and I think Mark Twain is quoted with saying that history may not repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. We know that eventually this monetary system has to be reset to a point of value. There has to be something of value to undergird it, to support it. And the best thing and most reliable thing is what has always been there, and that's gold and silver. Where we're coming to a point with gold and silver where the manipulated markets, and if you don't understand that they're manipulated, just look up price manipulation and JP Morgan and Wells Fargo over the last 10 years and see how much money, and Bank of America, how much money these banks have been fined for wrongdoing, and nobody's done any jail time. So here we are. We want to dump Trump. We want to kick Pelosi out of office. Just keeping it balanced, red and blue. We think that Biden is incompetent and he's just a puppet being put in front of us for us to vote for, and then somebody else will be running the show. But meanwhile, the central banking system and the Federal Reserve continually and consistently has been robbing the American people and the global economy of billions of dollars, and getting fined only 5 and 10% of that, just to say that we slapped them on the wrist, but nobody ever does any time. The real crime is happening right before our eyes, and no one gets upset. No one loses any sleep. We look right over it. Why? Because, like Mr. Taylor said earlier, I'm supposed to have a spray bottle with me, because then as soon as you start to kind of wake up and look at what's happening, they spray you in the face with racism. Oh, don't forget about them racists. There's racism. And now you got all this crap in your face again, missing the point. Because I made this reference to Mr. Taylor this morning. Most of the people that are racist and I would consider that hate me because of the color of my skin, are way over there, and they can do nothing to stop the flow of money in my pocket or what I'm going to do with this new economy. They have no power over me to do anything except distract me. So why would I look back? Like somebody posted, if the KKK was having a rally in your town, would you go? No, for what? To counter protest? Why would I waste my time with what they doing? It does not matter what they're doing. They can't stop this digital age. They can't stop me saving gold and silver. They can't stop me sharing that with like-minded individuals to save gold and silver to create a cash flow. And they can't stop this crypto. The governments can't stop this crypto. That's why they're trying to create their own and then throw out the hints and scare people that, we're going to regulate that. You can't regulate that. It's already too far gone. See, the central banking system didn't see Bitcoin coming, and it came and took off so fast that they can't do nothing now but try to jump on board and hope to keep you enslaved to their hegemony of fractional reserve lending, of a debt-based monetary system. They have to keep you in debt to win. But with Bitcoin, with gold, silver, let me not say Bitcoin, with cryptocurrency, gold and silver, it's a win-win for all that are involved. Over to you, Mr. Taylor.
I mean, we could pretty much end the show right there, brother. Like, it's to the point where, people have to just make that decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have to want to know. You should want to have this knowledge and information, but it's like one of them catch-22 things. Like, being on this side, you now know how important it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, but before this side, it's like I had no knowledge, I had no understanding. So I get it. But yeah, whoever is sitting under these messages and these messages come to you, like, really begin to take heed. Find a way to make cash flow without you having to trade your life for it, right? That's the one thing we're learning. The wealthy people, they create systems, they leverage systems to make that stuff called currency. when you realize that stuff is a product, when you realize that is somebody's product, just like this remote control, and we pay interest to use their product, one day people are going to wake up and be like, what? And I'm hoping that comes soon. I mean, it's going to have to come because, like you said, the system's going to have to reset. It's going to have to become a system of value because right now it's a system of truly debt. It really is a debt-based system. Go ahead.
Mr. Taylor, let me jump in with you, man, because you're bringing up a good point that it has to reset. And what that reset is called is a wealth transfer.
Mm.
Wealth is being transferred right now, and either is transferring to you or from you. And you're saying, well, I don't have any wealth. That's because they told you you didn't have any wealth. Meanwhile, there is abundance in your midst, and you are missing it because you're doing the same thing, expecting different results. You're going back and forth to work, paying all your bills, putting money in a 401k, putting money in a savings account, thinking that that's going to make you wealthy. It never has, and it never will. You have to do what the wealthy do. The wealthy don't talk about getting assets, they get assets. The wealthy don't talk about ideas, they put ideas to action. The wealthy don't worry about missing it and failing. They fail forward. They fail forward. Mute yourself, Ms. Brown. They fail forward. They don't mind missing it to make it. So you think the road to success is a straight line. If you don't get there in a straight line, or if it doesn't happen fast, then it's not supposed to happen. 3 years on this journey to freedom. Am I free yet? No, but why would I stop and turn around? Why would I stop and turn around when weekly I'm having silver bullion and gold bullion delivered to my house? I'm getting gold and silver digitally. I'm getting cryptocurrency deposited into my wallets, more than I invested, coming back on a daily basis. Why would I stop now? Why would I stop now when I know what's coming? When I can sit here with a straight face and say to you, Bitcoin, $1 million. Well, what should I do? Buy it, get it, invest it, multiply it, put it to work. Gold, silver, undervalued, manipulated. What I was going to say earlier with these banks, they've manipulated it so much that now they have contracts and the COMEX, the commodities exchange. Now they need the physical to fulfill some of these contracts that are coming due, and people are saying, no, I don't want to trade it in for cash. I want my precious metal. I want my silver. I want my gold. Well, guess what? 1 ounce of silver and 1 ounce of gold was being the same ounce of silver and same ounce of gold was being sold to 300 different people. So who gets the silver? Who gets the gold? First man through the door gets it. Everybody else gets left with a rain check, another IOU, another piece of paper. People don't want pieces of paper. Pieces of paper aren't going to be good for exchanging of goods and services anymore. Either you better own it physically and have it in your hand, or have the ownership to it digitally to be able to transfer it to someone. Gold, silver, cryptocurrency, the blockchain is it's not the future. It's the now. I don't know what the future holds. It's the now. And you still have time to get in and benefit from the money that's coming behind it. A company just put $425 million of their assets into Bitcoin. Square, who also owns Cash App, just put another 50 million into Bitcoin. Where do you think the industry is going? Because you've been using Cash App now and you're like, oh, this is wow. Why didn't anybody create this sooner? This is so convenient. And they just put 50 billion into Bitcoin. Where are we going? Get on the train, get ahead of the train. Stop looking, listening, hemming and hawing, and waiting for November the 3rd. The only thing that's going to happen on November the 3rd is we're going to find out who the president is, and they ain't going to change nothing in your life if you don't change something. Stop waiting for handouts and a universal basic income. That is not prosperity. That is not God's will. Man, I'm done. God bless you all. Man. Financial Freedom Fridays is about taking action. Stop listening. Stop waiting. Stop looking for proof or a sign, and take action. Over to you, Mr. Taylor.
I have some questions.
Go ahead,
So,
Mrs. Queenie. I saw you said.
for those of us who don't really know how to do that, how do we, if we understand that Bitcoin is where you need to be considering putting your money, in addition to gold and silver, How do we do it? What are the steps? And is that something we need to save for another show and go into depth, or is it something you can just kind of give us some direction right now?
It is, because there's so many different ways to do it. There's so many different platforms out there now. So you do have to pick the right one, because the market and the systems are so brand new. You can mess around and step into the wrong one and step into a bear trap. You don't want to do that. So we found some that are easier than others. Cash App allows you to acquire Bitcoin fairly easy. So right now, just acquiring it and holding it and not worrying about the daily fluctuation, because you're not looking for the now, you're looking for a point in the future. But we also know that people need cash flow. We found a decentralized hedge fund that allows you to deposit cryptocurrency in and receive a monthly return. We've also found another system that allows you to deposit Bitcoin and receive a daily return on that same Bitcoin. But now everybody wants to know, then how do I liquidate it and spend it? Get the consumer spend mentality out of the forefront of your mind. That is not how wealth is grown. Wealth is grown by off of people like you who are all only looking to spend, 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 spend. And yes, we do have to acquire things. I like some of the finer things in life. I walked by a Cullinan today about 6 times, and it was hard not to reach out and touch it, but I don't want to touch anybody else's car. And if you don't know what a Cullinan is, it's the Rolls Royce truck. Seeing it in a picture is nice. Seeing it in person is awe-inspiring. It will make your jaw drop. That somebody is driving around in 4 wheels and a motor, nuts and bolts that cost them $400,000. So to be able to drop $400,000 on some nuts and bolts and 4 wheels, you know that person's wealthy. They've made some right decisions and continue to, because they're not spending their capital. They're spending the cash flow. But first, we got to get some capital. So to answer your question, Queenie, that would be another show. But the systems now are being made so easy to acquire it and to move it and to spend it if you need to. We can show you how to spend it, man. We've connected with a platform that allows you to spend it in cash without it becoming a taxable event, for you to acquire gold and silver with it so you can secure it in a store of value. And even now, if you listen to the right people, you'll understand that Bitcoin is a store of value. It hasn't touched the limits of what it's going to be. So get it, acquire it, put it to work, let it grow, but don't be one of the ones caught on the outside looking in saying, I wish I would have.
Well, I think we should go ahead and plan for that to be the next show or series of shows, so that we can start talking about the practical and step by step, what do we do and how do we actually start making these changes. So before we go ahead.
And one last thing, one thing you can do is just reach out to us personally. You know, some of these systems we don't like to share publicly on this platform. It's not for public consumption. But privately, if you're somebody that's serious, that wants to go ahead and take a couple $100, a couple $1,000 and see what it could be, what it could do in some of these free systems that we use, then reach out to us. Reach out to Mr. Taylor, Dwayne Taylor on Facebook. Reach out to myself, Donovan D. Yarbo on Facebook, Donovan D. Yarbo at yahoo.com, Mr. Pay Yourself First at gmail.com. 770-713-8560 if you just want to get direct contact. I'm about helping people, man. I'm not out here hiding. I'm not hiding behind a mask in the safety of my own home. If you want this information, it's freely given, because all the platforms we use are free to you. Man, I'm done. I need a drink after this.
We drove you to drink.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Woodford Reserve is on deck for me after this session.
Wow. Well, do you guys have any final thoughts? Anything that you want to add before we shut it down?
Just take action. Take action. Begin to learn new information. You know, especially I'll just be real quick, especially people in their like 45 or over, you know, moving into that time frame, you know, the technology thing kind of scares you, but we have to get over that, because that's where everything is moving. We have to know this language. You got to know the cryptocurrency language. You got to know how to move in and out of cryptocurrency. You got to know what a wallet is and things like that. And like you said, we're going to talk about those things next week. And we can lead people to that knowledge and information to help them get that. But definitely take the action to begin to learn this, because you really, I think out of all the transformations that have probably happened on the planet since the planet's been here, I think this is probably going to be one of the most crucial times of being able to know how to transition with this new way of being.
Mm.
That's
All
it
right.
for me.
Wow.
And I do have one last statement to finish, just to tie it back into what we started with. Um, the price of tomorrow, or how to afford the cost of tomorrow. How to afford the cost of tomorrow is you take action today. You get the information today and you move. Don't wait for tomorrow to come and be ill prepared for what is literally already here. Like, this isn't a surprise. You've heard of Bitcoin, and now it's becoming so mainstream that you can walk into a lot of retailers now and start to see the sticker on the door that we accept Bitcoin here. Bitcoin paid here. Look at the gas station. I mean, look, if you live in a inner city neighborhood, Atlanta, Chicago, New York City, Brooklyn, Los Angeles, Inglewood, Long Beach, Compton, go to your local gas station. Go to 3 different local gas stations in quote unquote the hood, and I guarantee you one of them will have a ATM that you can deposit or receive Bitcoin from.
Mm. I know Walmart is transitioning to accept it.
Yep.
So
Because they
They
want so
are.
many people to have it, and it's a finite number. It's only 21 million that will ever exist. So it's not like this paper dollar where they can just print it, or they can just type digits into a computer and create more of it. Like I put on my Facebook earlier, just to kind of help some people that really don't understand, and not to get political, but people want to use this as like a calling card for how great of a President Obama was. Look how great the economy was. The man benefited from $185 trillion of stimulus money. That's money that did not come out from production. It did not come from ingenuity. It did not come from the free market. It came out of thin air. So anybody will look good with $185 trillion backing them. And that's what has backed us into this corner now. $185 trillion that was not created from ingenuity, or was not created from the free market of supply and demand, what an economy is supposed to be. Just kicking the can down the road, kicking it down the road, kicking it down the road, where we ran out of road and what's ahead of us is a cliff. So kick that can any further and it's a cliff. So now they're all huddled up like, what are we going to do now? We are at the cliff. Yes, what you should have did was way back down the road, allowed it to reset naturally. Yeah, it would have hurt some people, but not like this is going to hurt all people. And I quantify that by saying it's going to hurt all people that's not prepared. Get you some gold and silver for your protection, and get you some cryptocurrency for your wealth transfer. In Jesus' name, I'm finished.
and the church said amen.
Amen.
Thank God it's Financial Freedom Fridays. Thank you all so much for joining us for yet another show. We are excited about growing in wealth together. Be sure to join us next week and invite your friends and family. Be sure to share this with your friends and family. Help us all grow and move together towards our freedom. Thank you again, gentlemen. We appreciate you for joining us with your wisdom. And family, we will see y'all next week. Bye
All
bye.
right.